Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back. It is episode 14 of Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
We finally added video, people. You can see us. So welcome to the show. Welcome to our little lair that we have created. Right now we see a black screen behind us. That's not very cool. But we were worried about getting in trouble for, showing sports and stuff on YouTube. So we're trying to figure out something else to put there in the meantime. But Chad, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited about all this. We keep moving up. I feel like each week we're just leveling up one step by step.
Yeah, definitely. Little by little, we are definitely on our way, making moves slowly but surely. How's your week been?
My week was pretty good. Last week, we went to a birthday party. It was a friend of mine. We actually will be calling him shortly. It was his girlfriend's. We went to Happy Camper. It was Erica's birthday, and a really cool bar. It was this Happy Camper. They went all out for Christmas. There was just decorations everywhere.
Is that one next to that Vonti food space, across the street?
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is cool. We looked at that Happy Camper place, and I was like, that place looks like it might be a cool place to go to.
Yeah, we were sat at this
I was confused
area.
about what it's about, though.
It's kind of crazy because I guess COVID kind of inspired them to just run with the whole outdoor seating thing, because where we were sat was like a campfire sitting. There was a fire, make-believe fire, wood, and rocks where we sat on. It was nuts, but that was pretty cool. And then Sunday we went to Don's, and we're a little disappointed, but it was great to see everybody. We haven't been in about a month, so
I can tell you this much: I wasn't disappointed
because
I called it.
Well, I was pretty pleased with the Ravens winning.
Well, it wasn't.
With the backup quarterback.
The backup quarterback, the only one to score a touchdown in the game.
What about you, man? How was your show?
The show went good. We were at the Squire Lounge Saturday night. It was a show featuring bands that we have shared a practice space with for 5 or 6 years now.
Shit,
yeah, when we moved practice spaces, we just moved everybody with us, and we hadn't played a show together yet, so we finally did that, and then we had a bunch of local vendors come out, and that was cool. So
nice.
I like the communal thing. That's what we're trying to do with this show, make it communal.
Everybody helps everybody. That's what it's about.
Everybody loves everybody. Everybody helps everybody. It's an ongoing theme of this show. Well, right now, if you are listening, whatever you're listening on, please share, subscribe, follow, rate us. Please rate us. That really helps. 5 stars goes a long way, but we're going to get into the show now, and before we do that, we have to do the leadoff shot.
We have to, and I got to add, too, if you guys don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, I got to admit, we got a pretty good feed of sharing reels, memes, a lot of comical stuff.
Yeah, we definitely go for the more funny things more often than not.
And so give us a follow on there, because I think you'll probably enjoy it, whether you're a sports fan or not. There's some good bloopers on there.
Definitely.
And, good updates if you are a sports fan.
Always. Well, here's to video, Chad, and here's to episode 14 of Fringe Fanatics.
Let's hope the video didn't kill the radio star, buddy.
It might.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Oh, the funny part now is people get to see us actually react and not just hear us make weird noises for
I thought about
10
that
seconds.
too, and I thought, well, I'm glad we got good whiskey, because now they don't really have to worry about that, because that shit goes down easy.
It does. I wasn't ready for it, though.
Well, since we did it last week, there's multiple times I was tempted to do some, to have a few whiskey on the rocks, in between shows.
Yeah.
And I had to, stay strong. Cause
you did.
It's good shit,
I'm proud of you. One new thing I did, speaking of drinking, before we get into the biased buzzer beater with SAMIR, I switched it up this weekend. Started drinking tequila tonics.
No way.
Yeah.
You're a tequila drinker? What?
I just tried it.
Is it you? Did you take a page out of Bert's book?
I did, because I was like, he's been talking about it for a while, and he says he doesn't get hangovers. And dude, I woke up, I still felt a little bit drunk, but I didn't have a hangover.
That's weird. Well, it's so strange that it's the only alcohol it's an upper. So
yeah.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
I did also, one other thing I realized, guess what I didn't do? Black out.
Oh, wow. That's good. You are
I think maybe whiskey just makes me black out.
You are so susceptible to blacking out.
It's insane.
It's crazy, man. You can black back out. And it's like it's hangover story. Where
Yeah.
like, all right,
What happened? Like, I have
retrace
no
my
idea,
steps.
man. It got weird for a while.
Well, I commend you, man. I cannot do tequila. I am way too much of a bitch when it comes to doing
Dude,
that.
the tonic and the little bit of lime, even it was like, I mean, the Squire actually had JMO as their well whiskey,
Oh,
which
wow.
I thought was insane.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming maybe their tequila was a little bit of a higher shelf,
Could
well,
be.
because it tasted good. But I tried it.
Well, that's smart, man. Taking a page out of Bert's book.
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
I gotta. He's a legend, so if it works for him, it might work for me.
We got
We're
a little
both,
machine right here.
we're both chubby, and he probably looks better than me with his shirt off. He's got that like hard stomach,
I don't
It's
know.
like
Man.
this-
He's very hairy too.
Yeah, I don't have that much hair. That's the Native American in me, thankfully.
Yeah, probably.
Just kept that body hair down to a minimum.
All right, well, let's stop.
Let's get
We don't
Samir.
wanna-
Yeah, you want to talk about my body hair some more?
We
And
don't need listeners listening to
Pubology.
Well, I got my good buddy Samir coming on to do the bias buzzer beater this week because he is also a diehard Chiefs fan, and I honestly am just a little sore after that loss, and so he is just right at my level, if not more, probably more, when it comes to his fandom for the Chiefs. Very analytical. I think y'all will respect his decision. And so,
Yeah.
without further ado, hey Alexa, call Samir.
Speaking of which,
choose how to reach Samir.
oh,
Who should I call? Samir's phone or Alexa devices?
call Samir's phone.
Calling Samir.
There we go.
Look, it works for me too. All right.
Let's see if this works.
Yo,
Hello?
how's it going?
What's up, man?
Is this Samir?
How's it going?
Is this Samir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, Chad was just looking at me like I have no fucking idea who this is on the phone right now.
I feel like it did come through or something. I don't know. I was just making sure it worked. Hey, everyone, this is kind of new. We're using an Echo Dot to try to call. So just
Yeah,
making
we've got
sure
an
it
Echo
works.
Dot making calls. We got video for the first time, and Samir's on for the first time. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, doing great. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Always wanted to say that with the podcast.
Yeah, now you get to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did want to reach out and first and foremost let all the listeners know that me and Samir did have a little beef in a fantasy league, and I just want to apologize for being an asshole because I took it too far. I get on a roll and I can't stop. It's just
No,
it's
hey, I feel like I'm the same way. I do feel like that was those were hard times for sure. But,
the COVID times, man. The COVID years.
Yeah, I think COVID got everybody a little tense at that time. And fantasy football can get kind of serious sometimes.
It does. It does. Look what happened in the MLB.
Fantasy owner during COVID times, that's got to be super rough. So, I can't even imagine.
Well, hey, Samir, are you enjoying a cocktail as well with us? We got a couple mules and some whiskey here.
I do have a little bit of some Basil Haven, actually. My cousin gifted it to me while he was in town a couple weeks ago. So
You're joking.
This?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no.
It's one of his favorite drinks. When you guys were mentioning it the other day, I was like, oh, no way. I'm definitely going to have to try one this week when I get on. So
That's fantastic, man. Do you
Look at that.
Yeah, that really works out. We really like it, man. So, yeah.
it's a smooth drink, honestly. I've got nothing against it. It's great.
Yeah, I can't complain. There's a lot of times here, in the past, we've been doing, as you've probably heard, some pretty cheap whiskeys. So this is a step up for sure.
Yeah, I did.
Those rippers just sound a bit too rough.
Yeah, I was thinking now since we're changing the whiskey wager to doing a shot, it should be a shitty shot. Like I'm gonna go get some like.
I still have some of that 1792.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like 1792 or
And
Canadian Mist.
Ew. Oh, that's
really
bad.
make you pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
we lose.
I did lose the whiskey wager last week. I don't know if you remember that, but there was one game there I bet you against, and I'm forgetting it right now. But
oh,
yeah,
it was the Chiefs, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
that definitely
I
was
picked
it.
the Bengals.
And who reminded me of it was my mom. She's like, "Oh, you lost the whiskey wager." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, mom. Dang it, you're right."
It's okay. I was losing so many there for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Samir, thanks for coming on, man. So you've obviously been a good fan of ours and listened to some of the episodes, understanding what the Bias Buzzer Beater is all about. I'll give you 2 minutes, and if you don't mind deeping, trying to dig down and talk about that Chiefs game as much as you can. And then at 2 minutes, I will give you a heads up. I'll say that's it, and we'll just kind of discuss what you talked about.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, totally. Let me know when. Do I just start whenever? Or?
You can go ahead and start right now.
So Chiefs Bengals. Looks like we got the same results as we did earlier this year, which is 3 times in a row we've lost the Bengals in this calendar year. Not the best. 27-24. Joe Burrow had a really good game. Went 25 for 31, 286, 2 touchdowns, 1 rush touchdown. Samaje Perine stepped up with Mixon being out. Over 100 yards of fantasy got that week with over 21 points. And I mean, we just the same thing we saw in the AFC Championship game. The defense couldn't get any pressure with Joe Burrow. The Bengals wide receivers seem to have the Chiefs defensive backs numbers when it comes to one-on-one matchups. And we just had some of the most piss-poor tackling you could ever see this season. And, I mean, from all sorts of levels, from the linebackers to Juan Thornhill. And, you know, it just also translated into our offense with our tackles letting everything through the barn door go through. Orlando Brown is just not shaping up to what he was trying to hype himself up to be this offseason. And, of course, you get the nail in the coffin, which is Kelsey doing the most un-Kelsey-like thing, which is fumble in the most, you know, prime time of getting this ball to try and get us the win and get us, you know, at least up by 11. But, you know, it's really tough times. This also just kind of notes that this is the 7th time the Chiefs have lost in Cincy. And as I mentioned before, this is the 3rd time we've lost this year in the single calendar year. And the last 2 times we've lost to the same score, which is, you know, just really heartbreaking. But, you know, tips off to the Bengals. They played a great game. Joey B seems to have our number. And, you know, the Bengals wide receivers core, I mean, those guys are just relentless. Those guys are just so good at what they do. And, yeah, no, I mean, just really not.
Well, that's it, man. You were so far the best.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you just came in with a whole bunch of stats and everything. You did a breakdown like we do, so I appreciated it.
Yeah, well done, man. Well done.
Hey, Chad told me, and it was a homework assignment at that point. I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, he told you today, and you did this all on the fly, so I appreciate it, man. Good job.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun homework, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, when it comes to talking about sports, it's always usually the best assignments.
Exactly. It could be way worse, that's for sure.
Well, I definitely agree with you, man. I was super, you know, fearful when it came into this game because of the 3-headed monster of Boyd, Chase, and Higgins. I mean, it's like, who are you going to stop? And, you know, Hurst got hurt, but, I mean, Chase he's that dude.
Dude, yeah, and the fact that, yeah, he was gone for so long for that injury and just coming back in and not skipping a beat, it's like, and that was like his lowest scoring game, I think, in terms of fantasy.
Yeah, and the huge thing that I think that you hit on the nail on the head is Samaje Perine coming in off the bench and just annihilating everybody. He had like 30 last week, like you said, 20 this week. I mean, the guys, it's insane that that's their second string running back, just hanging out.
Yeah, no, the Bengals are really good. They got great depth. I mean, even their edge rushers. I was telling Chad during the game, just, you know, out of spite, I was like, oh man, these guys don't really have anyone on defense but Bates, and that guy faked an injury. And he's just like, well, no, they got some good D linemen, and you know, I was just being spiteful at that time. They absolutely do. Those guys are just, you know, just monsters, and they manhandled our line that game. So.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. They definitely step up for the Chiefs. I still think the Chiefs are the favorite to win the AFC Championship. I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl this year, but yeah, they definitely.
Like those odds.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have a rough go in the playoffs, though, I think. It's going to be some knockdown dragouts for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about it, but, man, these AFC playoffs, I mean, every single game, even as far as, like, Wild Card Weekend, is going to be a banner.
Now we got the Monday night Wild Card games, which is also awesome.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Which also sucks for those teams playing on Monday night. They got to come and go back on a Sunday or whatever, Saturday and play.
That's rough. But you know what I'm really excited for is the Bills and Bengals, I think, is in a couple weeks. That will be a fascinating game to see how well the Bengals can play against a team that's not the Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Very true.
But one thing I want to – go ahead, Samir.
Oh, I was just saying, like, it's crazy the duality of the NFL because Joe Burrow can beat the Chiefs, but he has yet to beat the Browns. So it's just like, how is this a thing?
It's so unbelievable, man. I mean, they got him this week, and you can't help but to wonder, like, is it going to happen again? Can they keep that momentum going from last week?
He's the Eli Manning to Tom Brady, basically, for Mahomes. Just that killer that just, I don't know why, but can't beat him.
New age.
That's a good way to put it. Well, Chris, one thing that me and Samir's been debating over the past couple of days, and I wanted to bring up on this call because it almost makes a good ELE topic, is Samir, if you know what I'm talking about, it's the I guess our disposition on the trick plays that Reed runs. And I don't know. So, Chris, my stance is that I feel like it's situational football. I don't feel like it's necessary when it's a close game. And I'm really getting tired of the Chiefs running those plays when we're not up by 10 plus points. That's my minimum when they should run.
Yeah, I get it though, but when they work, it's awesome. But it's like it's all those things you talk about. It's a chance you take, and then you look like a genius when it works, and you look like an asshole when it doesn't.
That's exactly what Samir said too.
Yeah.
And in this copycat league, you know, the moment the Chiefs introduced that little shovel play that Kelsey, the tight end, kind of slides underneath the offensive line.
Yep.
You know, the moment the Chiefs did that like 3 or 4 years ago, you started seeing every other team just, you know, copycat because you see the effectiveness of that. And, you know, that's just what this league is. If you see something that works, people are going to, you know, take note, and they're saying, all right, well, how can we take that into account, and how can we adjust it to benefit our team and organization? Yeah,
unless you're the Denver Broncos, in which case you just keep doing the same shit over and over again and scoring less than 15 points, which brings us to the next point.
Excited this week.
Yeah, you guys are going to murder us. It's going to be terrible. I cannot wait to lose again.
I don't know. We do seem to struggle with quarterbacks that are mobile and have, you know, decent pocket awareness.
Well, it's a good thing Russell Wilson's not mobile, so not nearly as much.
Yeah.
But man, we're gonna be set up out there. I know you guys usually get there early and party, so you're gonna have to stop by. We're hoping to have everything set up and basically be live streaming. So
I think we'll be in Lot C, right?
Yeah, Lot D.
Lot D. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they have like the middle sections now cordoned off for like tailgating. So now that they move the fucking game, we're gonna have to get there early at like before or right around the kickoff of like the 11 o'clock games to get set up probably.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it sounds like we're tailgating at Lot D then.
Yeah. We'll be hanging out there for sure. So, and then I'll be probably getting heckled by a lot of Kansas City fans as they walk by.
Yeah. Samir had a good idea of like, you know how we take an annual photo where we flip each other off the stadium every year? Well, him and I need to get a photo where we're pointing up at the gigantic banner of Russell Wilson just laughing at him, like just pointing and laughing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's just
he wasn't even in the matchup last week. Like it was Lamar versus Singleton, the linebacker. They didn't even have Russell.
Oh, wow.
That's embarrassing.
A linebacker, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Things are awesome in Bronco land.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, Samir.
Yeah, man.
Hey, likewise, guys.
Thanks for hopping on, man. We really appreciate it. You have a good rest of the night, and we'll see you Sunday for the beatdown.
Hey, you guys are absolutely killing it. Thank you guys so much for having me. You just keep doing what you're doing. Super excited. And, see you guys at the game. Go Chiefs.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Samir. Well, I definitely plan on having you on again after the Chiefs win. It's a little more fun doing a bias buzzer beater after they win.
Yeah, I'll allow that for you guys to just shit all over me for 2 minutes. You guys can even go a tag team.
Right on, bro.
All right. Thanks a lot, Samir.
You guys. Take care.
All right,
have a
good
night, buddy.
night.
Well, look at that. We did it. The Amazon Alexa worked. Speaking of which, new sponsor, Amazon Alexa. Thanks for joining the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That worked pretty good. We'll see how it sounds in post, but I think it worked.
That was pretty convenient. It was a lot better than me holding up my phone. So
yeah. I mean, you still had to hold it up, but you know, we're learning on the fly, people, and you're along for the ride. So Samir did good, man. That was great.
Yeah, nice job, Samir.
Good job, buddy.
He really knows his shit.
Good job, Samir.
All right, so I think it's time for us to get into our second ad read.
Oh, you want to do it right now?
Yeah, I think we should just go ahead and do it right now because
I
messed up the plan. But
you did, but let's just go for it.
All right.
It's not like it matters.
I know it.
Just go for it.
Well,
we're on the fly here, people. This is happening live for us, but not live for you.
That's true. Our other sponsor is my dear old mom. She owns a daycare, Sarah's Playhouse Daycare in Parsons, Kansas, and I just want to give a shout out to them. And she doesn't have any trouble trying to have kids that apply or parents that try to get their kids in, because everybody in a small town knows, well, how good I turned out and how good her other kids turned out.
I wouldn't use that as
That's what they all
We're
say.
going to edit that out. No.
No, that's not necessary. But yeah, so she's been doing it. When did I moved out here 13 years ago? So I'd say she's probably been doing it 15 plus years. And I've seen kids that it's crazy seeing kids that were some of our first daycare kids now that are like in high school and stuff like that. And that is basically her reputation, and her selling point is all of those kids end up turning out to be really good because she spends so much time with them, and there's just a lot of activities that she does with them. It's not just like they go there and sit in front of TVs and anything like that. And very attentive, and yeah, has a great reputation there in Parsons, Kansas. So if anybody needs daycare needs, then they
in the Parsons, Kansas area.
Yeah.
Basically. But
It's
you know
not
what?
Exactly like she can ship her needs out.
No, but she's damn good at what she does. So if you're in that area and you're listening, which hopefully a lot of you will be soon once the fire catches in Parsons, a Fringe Fanatics podcast. But,
all right. Yeah, to all my PK fam, if you need, any of your kids watch, even if it's for part-time, hit Rose Martin up or hit up the podcast and I'll put you in contact.
Definitely, yeah, and we just want to thank both Rose and Mark again because they got us really good whiskey, and they're the reason why you guys are watching us right now. So thank you guys. We really appreciate you. And, yeah, if you're looking for some childcare services, which is really hard to find reputable people these days, and you never know.
And reasonably priced, too.
Yeah, you just never know with people. So when you find a good one, it's good to spread the word around and get people going there.
That's true.
So
thanks a lot, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Let's get into the Week 13 picks. I'm sorry, I said Week 13.
The recap of Week 13?
Yeah. Week 13 picks, deep dives, and breakdowns. The correct picks, I believe we both got – actually, it's 12. We were at 11, and then after the Monday night game, we got Tampa Bay, which was looking like it was going to be 11 there for the majority of that game till Tom Brady pulled off.
Yeah, I almost wanted to message you and be like, yo, we need to talk about this. This is just insane. Like, he just does it again. I mean, the Saints really dropped the ball.
They did. I mean, because Tampa Bay looked horrible on offense for 85% of that game.
Pretty much 55 minutes. They couldn't move the ball. But, yeah, it's just – I cannot believe at his age he can still do the things he did. And granted, it was at the very end of the game. The Saints gave him every opportunity to do it, but – yeah,
they definitely dropped the ball. But, yeah, that was still wild. I thought about messaging to you two just because, 7 minutes to go in the game. You're like, oh, this game's over. Turn it off. And then he wins.
Yeah, pretty insane. I got to say, too, I thought it was pretty, trivial, but I couldn't help but to think of it. It was kind of cool. It was the first time, I think, in one of my fantasy matchups that it came down to the kickers. In your nephew's league, I was going up a guy that's one of the division leaders. He's pretty good, and we were tied at 111 going into last night's game. He had Ryan Suckup. I had Will Lutz, so it came down to the kickers, and thankfully Will Lutz came through, and I won. Yeah. So I just think, when it comes down to the kickers, it just kind of makes it a little more fun,
definitely. I was really hoping Godwin had a terrible game so I could beat my nephew, and he didn't have the greatest game.
Well, you crushed your nephew. I noticed that.
By 10 points. But yeah, it was all thanks to Cleveland's defense against Houston.
Yeah, that was a good pickup, man.
I'm screwed this week though. I don't know who I'm gonna waiver wire stream to be.
Yeah, well, I wanted to pick up Cincinnati in that league, and I'm sure your nephew has them.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's get into our first deep dive. I covered the Seattle and Rams game. Did you cover that one?
No, I didn't. We didn't do that again. We've only done that one time.
I just wanted to double check.
No, yeah, that was your fault technically.
Yeah,
so in your face. So
all right. So
that's your deep dive this time.
Seattle at Los Angeles. This was a game where Pete Carroll finally got the Ram off his back by beating Sean McVay. The Rams had won the last 8 of 9 against Seattle, and the Rams' offense finally showed some signs of life. They still only put up 319 yards of offense, but in a year like this with the Rams, that is kind of a good feat for them. And they nearly had the game won until DK Metcalf caught the game-winning TD. The Rams started John Wolford at quarterback, and then Seattle lost 2 running backs in this game. Kenneth Walker to an ankle injury, and DJ Dallas to, I think, another high ankle sprain.
He actually had to come back into that game from being doubtful because of Kenneth. Like, they had nobody else.
Yeah, because Homer's hurt too,
Mm-hmm.
and they had another guy, but I don't think they trusted him or something like that. But on that TD, I got to say, DK Metcalf just mossed Jalen Ramsey. That was so beautiful to watch. I've been enjoying, I feel like every single week, there's a wide receiver or a star. Travis Kelce. There was someone a couple weeks ago, too, that did it. Just somebody mosses and embarrasses Jalen Ramsey.
Or just torches him, down the field like Kelce did. Kelce just ran away from it.
He got 5 yards separation. And it's just great because Jalen Ramsey's a guy that talks a lot of shit. He's a really cocky guy. And it serves him right because I don't know if we've mentioned it on this show, but someone said it. You might be able to pull it out, but it was, I think what was it, Brandt, Kyle Brandt, I think, for NFL, that had a great quote for the Rams this year. That was last year when they won that Super Bowl. They won it on credit by going out there, trading away all their draft picks. And then this year,
they're paying for it.
The Bills come due.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it, So I feel like that's one of the best, taglines or quotes about a team that I've heard all year long.
Yeah, they bought that championship for sure. I mean, you could kind of say that similar thing to the Broncos, although they did have like 3 years of like decent play before they won the Super Bowl and then immediately dropped off. But yeah, this has been one of the worst teams in terms of performance since to win a Super Bowl and then to have this record the next year. And it just goes to show you, they totally bought it. And like you said, you hit a nail on the head. The Reaper has come.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, injuries on the line. They've had the most offensive line combinations with, I think, like 13 or 14 than anybody else this year. And, I mean, it just doesn't get easier. I mean, they're in a tough division, and it's just going to keep getting worse. But Seattle, they did lose a couple running backs. I think Walker might be back next week, but, I mean, he certainly won't be at 100%. So,
last I heard, it seems like DJ might be more likely to be back than Walker. They might hold Walker out, but you never know. Things change. I mean, look, we thought Jimmy G's foot was broken off, and it's fine. He might be back.
They're performing miracles out there, man. They've got some I don't know.
They got some sort of holy water or some sort of Tom Brady TB12 water.
That's
they might
what I
have
was
cracked
trying to think
code.
of, is those religious leaders that like put their hand on someone's head and they're just like eventually healed.
And then people have like a crazy fit. And
I'm healed. I can play on Sunday.
Oh my God. So that was Chad's deep dive. Is that all you got on that one? You got some more things?
No, that was pretty much it. So tell me yours.
I picked Cleveland versus Houston, which wasn't that great of a game, but it just the storylines surrounding it were big just because Deshaun Watson is back. And he looked a little tighter than usual this game. Maybe he didn't have the proper massages beforehand in order to get back into the groove of things. But the guy hasn't played football in 700 days, and he had no touchdowns and an interception. And there was booze raining down all day for him. He definitely, anytime he touched the ball, was getting booed a lot by the fans. There was people there wearing both Cleveland and Deshaun Watson Houston jerseys that I think were booing him, because I'm sure there's probably even Cleveland fans that don't like him, because Cleveland's, we just don't know how this is going to work out, and it's just coming back to Houston for his first game. I know that was a lot to deal with, but he just didn't look like the quarterback that they spent all of that money for.
Not at all. I mean, a lot of his passes were falling short, and we're going to expect a lot of rust from him. But, I mean, to me, that was like the level of rust is like the Titanic sitting in the ocean.
Yeah, there's barnacles involved, all kinds of shit.
Fish swimming around.
Yeah, he was lucky the defense dominated, and thanks to special teams, especially with Donovan Peoples-Jones getting that 76-yard punt return to put them ahead in the second quarter after they trailed 5-0, thanks to a safety when the Texans turned the ball over on downs at the Cleveland 1, and Chubb was tackled in the end zone. Thankfully, they never looked back as they didn't score until there were 10 minutes remaining in the game with oh my God, I just jumped all over that. Thankfully, they never looked back as the defense scored next in the third quarter on a 4-yard fumble returned by Denzel Ward, put them up 14-5. The offense didn't score a touchdown until there was not even a touchdown. They just scored a field goal. That was the only thing they scored with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. And the second defensive touchdown came on the next offensive play when Tony Fields picked off Allen and returned it 16 yards for a touchdown. Kyle Allen looked terrible in his second start after they benched, Davis Mills with the neck.
Mills,
yeah, with the neck. The guy had a big old neck.
That is weird that he has a neck injury. Maybe his neck's too long.
It's too long.
He's got
his head can't support it.
Giraffe syndrome or something.
Yeah, and Dameon Pierce looks like he's kind of come back down to earth. I just think this offense is just so terrible that even a good running back like him is just struggling to get anything done. So they have a long uphill battle as they, I think, are 1-10-1 now. They got that lovely tie there that always
that first
makes
game of
no
the season.
sense. Standouts in terms of the fantasy: Deshaun Watson, 12 of 22, 131 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 7 carries for 21 yards. Nick Chubb, 17 carries, 80 yards, no red zone production for Nick Chubb. Donovan Peoples-Jones, like you said, he had that 76-yard punt return. He also had 3 receptions for 44 yards. And Amari Cooper, 4 receptions for 40 yards. Kyle Allen for Houston, 20 of 39, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Dameon Pierce, 18 carries, 73 yards. Chris Moore, 3 receptions, 46 yards. That's about it for my deep dive of that game. I mean, like I said, it wasn't the greatest game to deep dive. I just want to talk about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think that's just a good reason to talk about it. And it's got to be mentioned as well that wasn't even a full stadium in Houston because they suck so bad. So wait till he goes to a stadium this week. I think Cleveland plays in Cincinnati, right?
They do, yeah.
So
they're probably going to get annihilated.
Yeah, him to start crying maybe by halftime. That would be hysterical, though. My next deep dive was...
Well, the breakdown. We're going to breakdowns, right?
Yeah, they're not my deep dive, but the next breakdown we both covered this one, the Miami and San Fran game.
Yeah, this was a game that did not go the way we thought after Jimmy G left early in the first quarter with that broken foot that's now not a broken foot.
Yeah, it was quite a bummer to see that because I would have really liked to see an even game, but Miami still lost.
They did, yeah. Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, makes himself relevant as he leads the Niners back against the Miami Dolphins.
Purdy bird.
Indeed, yeah. We thought Jimmy G was done for the year. He is not the second quarterback that they've lost to a broken leg or ankle. He might be back. We'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, Purdy did look all right. He did go, 25 of 37 for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, which for a guy who was the last draft pick is pretty damn good coming off the bench.
I noticed he had a lot of composure and he showed a lot of confidence in there, and that says a lot when he had no idea he was going to be playing in that game.
No.
Yeah.
It also helps, though, to have McCaffrey going 146 total yards from scrimmage, so that really helps.
Debo had a decent game.
Yeah, 6 receptions, 58 yards from Debo. McCaffrey, 17 carries, 66 yards, 8 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Guy's producing.
So, and honestly, it looked like a blowout from the very first play from scrimmage, too, because the Dolphins took one play to Sherfield for 75 yards, and after that, I thought, oh God, they're gonna put up 40 points again.
Yeah.
And after that, he went cold. He had 2 interceptions, and then he had a fumble where Nick Bosa came through and had a strip sack. Who is now the NFL sack leader with 14.5 sacks? So
possibly DPOY right there.
Yep, I think
keeps it up.
It definitely is up for the running now. With Jimmy G getting hurt, it definitely seemed like that evened things out because you got to take into account that Miami had their 2 starting offensive tackles out.
Yeah.
Armstead and then the other guy on the right side. So,
Yeah, they weren't looking good, and like you mentioned it, Tua threw 2 interceptions, which almost doubles his total for the year. He was at 3, so now he's got 5 interceptions, which is pretty crazy. Everybody was talking about him, not being reliable, and here he is with only 5 interceptions through 14 games, which is Aaron Rodgers type stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they finally looked a little more human, and that's what we've been waiting through for, a good 5 or 6 weeks now for them to play a really good defense, and we saw it.
Definitely. One other thing, too, Jalen Waddle left the game in the first half, I believe, and he returned but was relatively ineffective. 1 reception for 9 yards, which brings us to our next breakdown, the Commanders versus the New York Giants. In a game that the loser of would have had their playoff chances diminished by 40%, and they tied.
I cannot stand ties in the NFL, man.
I agree.
I can't stand it. I just feel like they need to change the rules, do something to where it's like a sudden death. Like I cannot even stand reading the record that's like
there's a 1 at the end for some reason. It's not hockey.
No, that's what I said to SAMIR on Sunday. I said this isn't hockey.
Yeah, it's not hockey.
There's so many ways to solve a tie.
It's not soccer.
I
football.
Can't stand it, man. It's
like I agree. We can go on that for a while, but the fact they did get it right, they made it happen in the playoffs, but they just need to make it across the board.
Yeah,
each team gets it on the 25. Whatever happens, happens.
I'm sorry to keep going into this, but I gotta say, college football rules are fun. When it goes into overtime, it could be.
And then it goes to the 2.
Purdue, or it doesn't matter if it's a small school. When I see it go to overtime, I'll tune in because it's exciting.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
the NFL needs to take some notes on that. But in this game, it's hard to talk about it because there's really no team that was really better than the other on this one.
Yeah, one of the analysts on the podcast I listen to around the NFL, Mark Sessler, said it best. He was like, I'm actually glad they tied because these two teams are so evenly matched. It's a perfect ending for this game. And you watch the game, and it really is.
It literally was.
Yeah.
I mean, Heineke had to do some, fourth quarter heroics to get him back in. He went 27-41, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns. They didn't do very well through the first part of the game, but yeah, he continues that hero ball mentality as he connects for the crucial fourth quarter 28-yard touchdown to Dotson, and that was to cap off a 90-yard drive to tie the game. He did fumble twice. 1 was recovered, and that gave the Giants a 20-13 lead early in the third quarter. Game was back and forth in the first half. I mean, Washington did have leads of 10-0 and 13-10, only to have it tied by halftime, and then they were looking in the rearview mirror the rest of the way in terms of the Giants at the Commanders because they were up 20-13 until the tie happened.
Yeah, a lot of that was due to Daniel Jones finally having the most rushing yards he's had since Week 7. He ended up with 71 rushing yards.
Leading rusher over Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, had 8 yards over Saquon. I was really glad that Saquon got into the end zone. He's one of my backs. And he had 63 yards but got 1 TD. I think he had just a couple catches. But New York had to punt after both and this comes in overtime, I believe it is. But New York had to punt after both running backs ran into each other in the backfield, and Jones had to scramble for 3 yards. Like, clearly, the guys got mixed up on the play, but it's really one of those, like, ESPN does a good segment, I think, like on NFL Countdown or Monday Night Countdown.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and that's going to be on there.
They did. It was definitely on there because, I mean, Barkley and 31 just ran into each other.
I don't know who their backup running back is.
It used to be Gallman, but he's not on there anymore. But,
yeah,
I mean, it's like both the teams didn't really deserve to win this game, but still, I can't stand that there's still a tie. There still needs.
It's just so stupid. When I get it when you play so many games like in the NHL, but when there's only 17 games, like there should not be any ties.
I mean, here's a good example. I like thinking about when we mentioned soccer or hockey, where 5 is a really high scoring game. Okay, with the NFL, you could get 50 points like the Cowboys did the other night. So, in the NBA, is there ever a tie?
No.
No, they'll go on forever. So, do the same thing. Figure it out. Goddamn, Roger. All right.
Roger Goodell. Well, that's it for the Week 13 deep dives and breakdowns. We're going to bring you some music from Faya. This next song is called MUJER MODERNA. MUJER MODERNA, which is basically modern woman.
Well done, Chris.
I fucked that up the first time, but I saved it.
I'm glad you
MUJER
said it.
MODERNA.
Nice.
Modern woman. So you'll be hearing that, and we'll be back here shortly. All right, we are back yet again. You just heard MUJER Moderna by Faya, and if you liked it, please go and find a way to purchase it or go listen to it on any streaming service, Spotify, all of those things, much like this show. If you want to purchase merch or find out where they're playing next, please go visit Fea210.com. That is FEA210.com. They are a pretty awesome band, and we are digging having them as our musical break guests. So check them out, and we are getting into the NBA. What are we going to call it this week, Chad?
Let's call it. What did I send you today? Let's call it the fast break.
All right, NBA fast break.
Let's do that. We'll switch it up every week.
Yeah, we'll just call it whatever we want. It doesn't matter. All right, the NBA fast break. So, news this week in the NBA. Nike cuts all ties with Kyrie after initially suspending all sort of sponsors type stuff with him. So, they're finally fed up with his stuff. He had a shoe that was about to come out I think it was last month it was supposed to come out, and they suspended it, and now it's not coming out.
I'd say hundreds of millions of dollars that's lost now.
Yeah, especially just think about all the money they had to spend. Excuse me. All the money they had to spend on marketing and stuff and getting all that ready to roll out, and then just to can it, like, whew.
Well, I mean, that's the risk
Nike,
you take
though.
when you bring in a guy like Kyrie, too.
Yeah, he is one of those guys. The other thing, we kind of were talking about this before we got going, was Trae Young has to downplay a little bit of a spat with Coach Nate McMillan. Yeah, he ended up sitting out Friday night.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts because today they tried to walk it back, the coach saying that he did not tell him to skip the game. It just kind of really seems like a he said, she said kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Nugs still lost without Trae Young. And
Yeah, it didn't matter for our
it
Nugs,
fucking
unfortunately.
matter. So,
Yeah, it started all because he didn't want to join shoot around in the morning because of shoulder soreness. He wanted to go seek treatment. The coach basically said, if you don't come to shoot around, you're not going to play, or you can come off the bench.
Yep.
And he said, well, I guess I'm not going to play then. So it's turned into this whole thing. Sounds like they're doing a bunch of, PR stuff to try and get this to blow over. But let's get into a quick breakdown of where things are sitting for the Eastern and Western conferences. We're going to hit the top 3 teams in each conference, and we're going to start with the Celtics. So the Celtics, they went and played the Raptors last night, and Tatum goes for 31 points and 12 rebounds, while Jaylen Brown scores 22. Celtics beat up on the Raptors for their 7th win in 8 games. They have a 3-game lead over the Bucks and take on the Suns December 7th, which is tomorrow.
It is.
So
yeah, they just beat the Nets recently too, and pretty handily at that.
Yeah, they're sitting at 25. They've got a pretty decent lead over the Bucks, sitting at 17-6. The Celtics are rolling. Nothing's slowing them down. No Ime Udoka, nothing.
I've got a couple notes on them that they are still first in most categories, like offensive efficiency, 3-pointers made per game, and 3-point percentage. And last year they were known as the defensive unit, and this year they've improved their offense drastically. And so it's just pretty scary knowing that their defense is still just as good because the coach that's come in, I keep forgetting his name, but he was a guy that's never had any NBA head coaching in his life.
Yeah, he was the assistant. He stepped up as the interim, and I when I first read his name, I thought he was a girl, so it's something that's kind of a girl's name. So hold on, I'm gonna figure it out. You keep talking though.
But I guess I heard news the other day when I was watching NBA Today on ESPN that he came in and basically was like, listen, we're not going to change up what Ime Udoka was doing. I'm not going to come in here and try to change things up to where it's like a totally different regimen. And I think we're seeing that. We all expected the Celtics to take a dip, but I mean, if anything, they're better.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And I was way off. I was thinking of the Nets coach. Joe Mazzulla is the coach of the Celtics right now. So they're continuing their dominance, and yeah, like Chad said, it's scary that now they are not only a very good defensive team, but they are a team that's shooting 3-pointers, which is almost what you need to get over on teams like Golden State. I mean, you can defend so much in the paint, but when somebody's like Steph is hitting it from the logo, what are you going to do? Yeah. So it's obvious that they've kind of realized that they need to bolster up the offense. So let's roll into the Bucks. Like I said, they're sitting at 17-6. After both sitting out Saturday's win over the Hornets, I almost said that weird Hornets, with knee soreness. Both Giannis and Jrue Holiday returned Monday night in their win over Orlando. Giannis scored 34 points and grabbed 13 rebounds, while Holiday added 10 assists, 17 points, and 8 rebounds. They take on the Kings tomorrow night. So yeah, the Bucks, they're working their way. I mean, I don't know if they're going to catch the Celtics unless the Celtics have some major injuries, but I can definitely see them just, they're going to sit back and wait in second all the way till the playoffs.
Well, is Chris Middleton back yet? I know that he was on his way.
I don't think that he is yet.
I don't think so either. I think it'll really make a difference when he comes back, but with the Celtics playing as good as they are, I don't think it'll matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It seems like they're doing pretty good, but imagine when he gets back, they're missing kind of a key piece, and they're still just rolling on people. So the rich get richer.
What else you got?
The Cavs in the East. So Cavs sitting at 15-9. Mitchell scores 23 points with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. Darius Garland scores 17 points to go with 3 assists as the Cavs come up short in this game, which was very low scoring against the Knicks, 92-81. Snapping the Knicks' 5-game losing streak Sunday night. They take on the Lakers tonight. I don't know what the score is right now. I think it's going as we speak.
Keep talking and I'll check it real quick.
You check that. That's about all I got on the Cavs, and then we're going to roll in the Western Conference Finals. But I realized, Chad, in the wake of all this new stuff going on, guess what we forgot?
To do the shot at the turn.
Son of a bitch.
I almost just mentioned it a second ago.
Yeah, I figured this is a good point. We're in between the Eastern and Western Conference, so let's take a quick shot.
Let me just find this.
Check the score, Chad.
So close, because it is LeBron against his old Cavs. So.
Yeah. It's kind of sad we can't have the game on the TV.
It's a close game. 92 Cavs, 90 Lakers. Damn, that's a close game.
Oof. Too bad we can't watch it right now. We're going to have to move the TV behind the camera.
Oh, that's what we should do.
Is just move this over there, put the banner there. This is happening on the fly, people. You're listening to us break it down.
Either we do a banner or we get a huge picture post up of us flipping each other off at Bronco Stadium.
That would be kind of cool. All right, well, here's to figuring that out. Cheers, sir.
Cheers to progress.
At the turn. You can't stop progress.
It's a moving train. Woo-hoo. Good stuff there.
It does get smoother with everyone.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's having a good game with 28 points right now. They're just starting the fourth.
Whew. All right. Moving on to the Western Conference, we've got the Suns in first place, sitting at 16-8. The Suns were extinguished by the Mavs as Doncic scores 33 points and Dinwiddie adds 21 points as they hold on to a big lead and don't let the Suns back in. For the Suns, Ayton scores 20 points, and Booker, who has averaged 39 points over the last 4 games, was held to 11 points on 4 of 13 shooting. They had an abysmal first quarter as they shot 26% from the field and only scored 15 points, their lowest quarter total of the year so far. As I stated earlier, they take on the Celtics tomorrow night.
Oh, shit. That should be a good game. I got to tune
Should be a
into
good game. I think, actually, the Celtics take on the Nuggets Thursday night, back-to-back.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Me either, but we'll see. Hopefully the Nuggets can figure some shit out.
Yeah, they need to get going.
You have anything to add on the Suns?
Not
anything?
on the Suns.
Okay.
Keep going on the two other teams, and I've got a few other news
I'll run
stories
through
to hit.
these, and then you can hit some news stories. Pelicans sitting at 15-8. Jose Alvarado lights it up from three-point land with 8 threes to go with 38 points as the Pelicans beat up on the sliding Nuggets, ultimately leapfrogging the Nuggets for the second position at the time of this game, but the Nuggets are now in fourth as some other games has played out over the last 2 days. So Nuggets not looking very good. The crazy thing about Alvarado, he was signed as an undrafted free agent last year, so if you don't know his name, there's a reason why. He didn't even get drafted. He is the first undrafted free agent to have 38 points in a game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they were trying to get him 40. The whole team was trying to get him 40, and he just was kept like the flow of the game. He didn't want to just start taking unnecessary shots. So kind of cool. He was just like, nah, man, I'm just going to keep playing the game to get us a win, not just take shots to take shots. So
it's pretty cool to see the Pelicans doing as well as they are. I mean, what's his face?
Zion.
Zion has been playing really well.
Yeah, he got 25 points that game. He was kind of low in other categories. He didn't have that many assists or rebounds, but he was definitely singing that kid's praises after the game, basically saying, like, you know, if that guy is on, we're just going to try and give him the ball so he can shoot. So apparently this might be like one of those situations, almost like a Jokic, like where people are like, a second-round NBA player? Like, this kid's not even second round. He's not even drafted, so it's just guys like that aren't supposed to be making this type of waves in the way he is. So
you never know with these guys.
Exactly. Let's move on to the Grizzlies, sitting at 15-9 in third place. Tyus Jones scores a career-high 28 points as the shorthanded Grizzlies beat the Heat 101-93 Monday night. This was a big win as Ja Morant and several other key players missed this game. Thankfully, it was of no matter, and they now moved ahead of the Nuggets for third place in the West. It was the second night of a back-to-back, and after winning 4 of 5 of the last 4 games, or 4 and 5, after winning 4 of 5 of the last, oh my God.
Get it out.
After winning 4 of the last 5 games, they chose to rest some of their starters, and it paid off. They took Oklahoma City. Oh, my God. They take on Oklahoma City at home on Wednesday. Chad, what else do you have? After I struggled through that.
No worries. Thanks for covering those top teams, man.
Yeah, no. We're going to try and do that every week. I'm going to try. We'll see.
I think it's a good team effort because you do a lot of the top 3 teams out of each conference, and what I try to do is sign
you fill in
the stories kind of coming through.
You play well off of each other.
We do.
Good ebb and flow.
Fucking Starsky and Hutch over here.
I like it.
All right, so the Lakers have won their last 8 of 10, and AD is right now.
He's like averaging 40 points.
He's fucking
it's not 40, but he's like averaging like 30 some points. It's
and
crazy.
Russell Westbrook is definitely trying to get 6th man of the year. I mean, those guys, something clicked. I don't know. I think what it is they're like, okay, we need to get AD the ball, and have the offense flow through him. And so that's what they've been doing. Russell Westbrook's been getting like 15 assists a game sometimes. It just seems like, when is AD going to get hurt? It's inevitable.
That is the big question.
That's the thing, is how long can this last? That dude is Mr. Glass if I've ever seen one. So, let's right now the Lakers have fallen. They're behind 5 points by the Cavs right now, and I mean that's just it. They've won their last 8 of 10, but they're still like 13 out of 15 teams in the West, so they've got a lot of climbing to do.
Yeah, they definitely did not help themselves in the beginning of the year, and I think maybe just LeBron maybe shouldn't be the guy anymore.
No, I totally agree.
Eventually, it happens to everybody.
Yeah,
and maybe he just needs to kind of be number 2. He needs to be Robin for a bit. Let AD be Batman until something happens to him. Injury-wise.
Be Scottie Pippen instead of Jordan.
Exactly.
Yep. Another news story is Kawhi Leonard finally returned. He hit a game winner against the Hornets the other night. He had, a nagging knee injury. He pretty much missed, he did miss all of last year.
Yeah.
So, if Paul George and Kawhi are healthy on the Clippers, they can be a real threat. So
they definitely can. It's just, again, 2 guys who can't stay healthy. I mean, Paul George has not been the same since he broke his leg in that Pacers game. When was that? That was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
They were playing on an elevated court, and he fell off of it and broke his leg or something.
Oh, shit.
It was weird.
Yeah, it's just those guys can't ever stay healthy. And on that same note, another one that has a hard time staying healthy is James Harden, who returned to the Sixers in a double overtime loss the other night. And he went 4 for 19 from the field. Clearly some rust. But, I mean, he even admitted it. He came out and said he needs to play better. They almost beat his old team over the Rockets. But, the Rockets are a very young team, not that good. And the Sixers are a team that, can beat the Nets, when there was only I think it was James Harden was out, Tyrese Maxey. It was like a couple of weeks ago. And they.
Oh, yeah, when everybody was out.
Yeah, everybody was out. So, I mean, they've got a good team, but, falling to Houston isn't going to cut it.
Definitely not. Well, is that all you got for the NBA?
That's all I got right now.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us into what I'm going to call the penalty box.
I like that.
For the NHL.
That's good.
Because that's where all the bad boys end up, in the penalty box. Penalty box, basically, we're just going to break down the 4 teams leading each division. There's 2 conferences, 2 divisions in each conference. It is a little weird that they do that, but Eastern Conference, we're going to start in the Atlantic Division with the Boston Bruins, who are absolutely rolling, but unfortunately, they hit a little bit of a snag as their record-setting 14 home game winning streak to start the season was snapped by their former head coach Butch Cassidy, who was fired after 5.5 seasons last year when they were knocked out of the first round of the playoffs by the Hurricanes. 8 days after he was fired, he was hired by the Golden Knights, and this was his first homecoming since being fired. In this game, 2 of the league's 2 top teams faced off in the matchup, and by the second period, the Knights had a 3-0 lead, which was the first time that the Bruins have allowed the first 3 goals of a game all season. They did rally back as Marchand and Pasternak both scored goals 6 minutes apart later in the second period. They eventually tied the game, sending it to overtime, but they lost it in the 5th round of the shootout. This was only their second loss in 12 games.
That's nuts.
It is nuts. They take on the battered Avs tomorrow night, so I'm going to touch on the Avs in a little bit just because that is technically our team, but the Avs are struggling. Boston's looking really good, so that's going to be a rough game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially with Nate McKinnon suffering that injury.
Yeah, just wait till I list off all the injuries. It's insane.
It.
So moving on to the Metropolitan Division, that's going to be the New Jersey Devils leading that one. They're 20-4 with 41 points. The Devils topped the Flyers 3-2 on Saturday night, setting a franchise record with their 11th straight road win. If the Devils can get a win December 12th against the Rangers, they will tie the record for the consecutive road wins in the NHL for the most in terms of consecutive road wins, as they haven't lost since their first road game October 13th at the Flyers. The Devils are on a roll, as we mentioned last week. They recently had a 13-game win streak snapped, and they have won 4 of the last 5 and 17 out of 19 over that stretch. They are rolling. And in the second year, breakout star Jack Hughes scored in this game. I don't know if you've seen this guy. He's like the there's a few up-and-coming phenoms. I'm going to talk about another one for Dallas, but this guy literally is like the most like prototypical stoner surfer dude I've ever seen in the NHL. There's a pretty funny post game where he's just like, "Man, I'm just hanging out, just doing what I do, man." Like just totally laid back and chill.
You're talking about this guy on the Stars, right?
No, on the Flyers.
Okay,
Jack
okay.
Hughes. There's another guy on the Stars though I'm going to talk about too.
Nice. I was hoping you would cover him because it's a pretty cool story.
It is a pretty cool story. So yeah, that was what I want to mention about Jack Hughes. The guy does not seem like he'd be this like fucking annihilator in the NHL, but so far he's one of the top players in the NHL. See, Dawson Mercer and Fabian Zetterlund also netted 2 goals in that game. They are taking on the Blackhawks as we speak, I believe. Moving on to the Western Conference, the Central Division, you have the Dallas Stars sitting at 14-6 with 33 points. Dallas loses 6-5 in a shootout after the Wild choked a 4-goal lead away in the third period. And this was something we talked about last week in the quarter season update. There's no lead that's safe in the NHL anymore, and you kind of brought that up a little bit ago, and you're saying like 5 goals was a lot. Like anymore, like there's at least 2 or 3 games a night that someone scores 5 goals, which you never saw in the NHL. So that's a pretty cool thing to see. It's like still continuing, and we brought it up, so it makes it seem like we know what we're talking about. Jason Robinson, that's the guy you were talking about for the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
3rd Filipino player ever in the NHL. Netted his league-leading 23rd goal of the season as he continues his team record point streak to 18 games. It's safe to say his meteoric rise to stardom in the NHL is only going to continue, as this is only his 2nd year after being drafted in 2020.
I think it's a pretty cool story, man, for a Filipino kid from California.
He's from California.
Yeah, to rise to stardom like this, especially on a franchise like the Dallas Stars, which has a pretty good fan base, I believe.
They do. Dallas has been good for a while.
Yeah, I think it's a good story.
Yeah, unfortunately, they just ran into a Wild team that are 3-1 in shootouts and 7-3 after the end of regulation. So the Minnesota Wild just beat them in regulation, and you're probably going to lose for some reason.
Seems
These
like
guys are just
clutch
team. Moving on to the Pacific, the Golden Knights, who we talked about a little bit ago. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. 19-7, 39 points. Butch Cassidy, like I said, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Knights is what I'd labeled them. Ended the Bruins' 14-game home streak. This is actually Dallas's 14th road win of the season. Oh, I'm sorry, I put Dallas. This is actually the Golden Knights' 14th road win of the season. That ties them with the Stars for the most of the Western Conference. They take on the Rangers tomorrow night. So that's kind of my penalty box breakdown of the NHL, but I did want to touch on the Avs because this is crazy, man. So the defending Cup champions are battling injuries left and right. Like you said, McKinnon just went down with, 4 to 6 weeks with looked like a rib. You'll never know in the NHL.
What we were told was an upper body injury.
They're all upper body or lower body. Yeah, you get 2 areas to be hurt, and then it could be anywhere in there.
Yeah, Probably, like you said, probably a rib injury, which is huge. That's one of the stars of the Avs.
Yeah, it's a huge blow, and when I wrote this, I didn't know how long he was going to be out for. 4 to 6 weeks, it's rough, as the Avs are just struggling right now. Adding him to the list of injured, this is just the forwards. Landeskog, Nichushkin, Rodriguez, Lehkonen, Helm, Bowers, Foudy. That's just the forward position.
Oh, my.
They also have 2 huge defensemen out, Bo Byram and Josh Manson. This team is struggling. They're hurt everywhere. I feel bad for them. It's hard to win the Stanley Cup. It almost seemed like when they started playing again in October, we're like, it just seems like they won the Stanley Cup.
I know, their offseason is so short.
Yeah, and those guys just partied all hard, and they're definitely struggling right now. They've got a little bit of the Stanley Cup hangover. They've got to weather this storm and just try and get through and stay in the playoff hunt, because you don't want to fall too far back. Otherwise, it's so hard to climb back with people able to get points in overtime, just getting to overtime and overtime wins. So they got to keep it going. Losing McKinnon's huge because he was kind of holding everything together while everybody else was hurt. I think they get Landeskog back in like another week or 2. It could depend. But they're needing people that are healthy very badly.
Yeah, that's a bummer when you see a team so hurt like that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Well, nice
But
job, Chris.
Thank you. So, yeah, that's me talking for a long time about the NBA and the NHL. Chad did provide a lot of good points, though. I appreciate it.
Hey, I try.
Didn't make me feel as bad as the last time where I was like, I talked way too fucking much.
Yeah. Even just like when I listen to SportsCenter, they kind of hit on a few hockey stories that I try to catch on every
Yeah,
now and
it's
then.
like we talked about. We always bounce back and forth whether or not one of us is talking. Someone can also always interject with something.
As soon as football wraps up, I'll definitely start pouring myself more into
yeah, once football's over, we will be hitting all the other sports a lot harder, but it's hard with the NFL just being a constant train. It never stops.
It never does.
Speaking of which, we've got week 14 picks against the spread, Chad.
We do. Should we do the UFC first?
Oh, shit. Oh, I thought you wanted to do the UFC before DDOE.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
I fuck up the plan every time.
It's okay. I write it down.
I'm glad you do. I just fucking wing it. I really do.
Yeah, no, you throw me curveballs, we just try and react. It is what it is. Speaking of curveballs, should we do a curveball shot right now?
Might as well, man.
All right, we're there.
Well, and I think this is it. I'll give you your curveball shot, and then
Oh,
I need to do my whiskey wager shot because the Chiefs lost.
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll do one with you.
All right.
Since
Well,
it's-
I appreciate that. We didn't do a whiskey wager
Since this is the
this week.
first whiskey wager shot, I think, that we're doing. Or did I do one last week? No, we didn't do
No,
one
we
last
didn't.
week.
This is the first time.
All right. Well, I'll do one with you on this first one. And from here on out, I think like we were talking about with Samir, I think we need to do shitty whiskey.
I think we should.
It needs to be a punishment.
It does, you
Yeah.
know, because I mean, there's got to be some risk involved with it.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah. It's like I don't want to taste delicious whiskey when I lose.
This is a reward right here.
Yeah,
with
it
this
is.
Basil Hayden.
I don't deserve it if I lose.
I
Like,
think it's so cool. Samir
right
is
now,
drinking
you
this
don't
too.
deserve it at all, but you're
I
getting
know.
it.
Fucking.
No, that was super cool. Like I said, I'm
I thought he was
super
joking
pumped
when
on
he said that.
Samir. Like that was cool, man. He fucking came in and knocked it out of the park. So good on him.
All right, we try to bring on people that really know what they're talking about. I mean, because we somewhat do, but he really does. I mean,
You could
Well-
tell though that he's listened to the show.
yeah, and that's why
Like I felt like I was like, oh shit, I feel like I'm listening to the show right now.
when I talked to him on Saturday for his girlfriend's birthday party, there was something he was talking. He's like, "Yeah, you guys were talking about this," and it was like something that we had talked about just in the recent episode. And I was like, "Dude,
Are you listening to every episode?
he listens to every episode. I love it." Hell
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah.
It's like we're getting some followers, man. We're gaining them every time. So, hey, do a curveball shot.
Curveball shot and the whiskey wager. So it's technically the whiskey wager curveball shot. It's it's curveball. What are you gonna do?
Yep,
Here's the curveballs.
that's what I get for the Chiefs for losing to the Bengals. I still would have done one with you.
Yeah, well,
Puts hair on your chest.
it does. It's always nice to be right every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while.
I'm
Well,
slowly coming back.
maybe we'll find a whiskey wager out of this week 14.
Yeah, so we're gonna roll through these and we're gonna get them done.
All right.
So Thursday night football, December 8th, the Raiders at the Baker Mayfield led Los Angeles Rams.
That would be crazy if he's.
I don't think he's
starts.
actually gonna start this
No
game,
way. I
but
don't think so
you
either.
never know.
Probably be John Wolford. Las Vegas has their offense rolling right now. Adams is coming off a 177-yard game, so I'm looking forward to seeing him burn Jalen Ramsey now.
Yeah, it's 3 guys now on the Raiders. It's Derek Carr, Adams, and Jacobs.
Yeah.
And they are a 3-headed monster that is annihilating people.
I heard the
It's
stats
scary.
last week where like those 3 guys accounted for like 80% of their
Yeah.
yards.
Here's one thing: if I were the Chiefs, I would not want to face the Raiders in a wild. Like if the Raiders making a wild card and you have to face them, whew.
I mean, there's a small percentage they could make it, and we play them week 18, where
That could be a
it's
huge
definitely
game.
Well, that, and it's not like we will have the number 1 seed locked up or anything
No.
like that, so we won't be resting anybody. So it's still going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's gonna be super interesting. Before we digress too much into that, I've got Vegas in this one.
I've got Vegas
Okay.
too. I don't really see, and
The Rams are just too beat up,
yeah.
and the Raiders are on a 3-game win streak, so I don't see the Rams figuring this out, even if Mayfield started.
I've got the Raiders favored by 6.
You got them by 6. I mean, this is sitting at 5.5. Again, I don't know. Oh, hello,
I think
computer making
our
noises.
sources show different things each
They
time.
might be. Are they at 6?
I get mine from ESPN.
Okay.
the day.
See, I just print them off the spread and then I don't check them.
Yeah.
So we'll
That's
go
all right.
off of you do the spreads, okay? Since you got updated.
That's my job.
That's your job on this. Okay.
All right.
Moving
So-
on. What's the next one, Chad?
New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 9.5, and I feel like they're going to be looking to try to get some revenge from that last upset. I don't really see lightning striking twice.
I don't either. I mean, I've got Buffalo in this game, but it would not surprise me if Mike White pulled off a miracle and beat the
God, I would
Bills.
love it. I would be so happy.
That would be
about
huge
that.
for Chiefs fans.
Oh, it'd be great. But I mean, Devin Singletary has quietly been averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. He doesn't get because Josh Allen passes so much. It's not like he racks up 100 yards per game.
Yeah.
But their run game is still solid, and they got James Cook too.
And that's what I'm saying. James Cook had a breakout game last week, and I think they might have kind of realized that he might be the spark they need. Because the one thing about Singletary is he has been averaging that, but, man, I feel like he doesn't score that many fantasy points if you're
No.
in fantasy. I've got him on my fantasy team.
They
He's
just
scored maybe 20 points once this year.
They
And I
put
didn't
so
have him
many-
in.
Yeah, and they put so many different people in the backfield. It's really hard to judge it.
Yeah, they really do. And especially with Allen, being
Yeah.
able to do options at any moment in time, it throws everything for a loop. So, yeah, we both got Buffalo in this one, right?
All right. Next one is Browns at Cincy. Not much to talk about here, but other than the fact that Deshaun Watson's probably going to get booed into a point where he just cries into a fetal position. We can all hope. This is another revenge game. Cincy lost their last matchup to the Browns, and they got blown out, really. But I think they'll be having tons of swag after last week beating the Chiefs. And, yeah, so I think Cincy would definitely pull it out.
Samir did bring up one point.
What's that?
They haven't beat Cleveland.
No, they haven't. But I think that ends this week. It's just I don't think
I
Deshaun
picked
Watson-
Cincinnati too,
yeah,
but these last 2 games, I literally could see it going either way. Because is Mixon going to be healthy? We don't know. He's been out 2 weeks with concussion.
it is kind of crazy that he was out again.
But
with
again,
concussion.
Samaje Perine has been looking good. I don't know. I just could see Cleveland having that running game that if they could keep Burrow off the field and make it like a knockdown drag out, they could win. But I
Yeah.
think Cincinnati's a safe bet.
I
What
think
are they at? What's
Cincinnati's
the
really-
spread on this one, Chad?
-6 for Cincy.
-6. Okay.
I'd take Cincy for that. I think they'll cover.
The next game is supposed to be a blowout. I don't know what you've
I
got
think we
it
need to
at.
probably talk about this game for maybe 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes? Yeah, no, definitely. Dallas is going to just annihilate Houston. If you got Dallas's defense in fantasy, be prepared to score some points.
What does the spread show on your sheet?
16.5.
Wow, mine says -17. -17.
That's insane in the NFL.
I think the biggest one we saw earlier this year was the Chiefs versus. Fuck, I'm forgetting it right now. Ah, damn it! I
It
can't.
would have to be somebody that sucks.
No, I know. I can't think of it right now. But I think it was the Titans. Even it was like 13.5.
Oh, maybe it
No,
was.
It was somebody else. It was like 15. But
I do
anyway,
remember what you're talking about. We
yeah,
talked about it.
17 points, man, and they'll probably cover. I think Houston's.
I could easily
trying
see
to
them
lose
winning
right
like
now.
40-13.
I think that's why they're
Again.
playing. Yeah, I definitely see. I mean, I've got written down, expect, if there's prop bets, take over 200 yards for rushing total for Pollard and Zeke. I mean,
Easy.
easy. I think last week they put up like 193 or something.
Yeah, if you go total yards, you could probably put it up to 250 with Pollard getting receptions out of the backfield.
Yeah, total yards, definitely. I mean, they're going to squash them.
We got Dallas in this one. Moving on to the next one, Minnesota at the Detroit Lions.
This could be a whiskey wager. I've got the Lions picked, man.
I've got Minnesota. You want a whiskey wager it?
I think I do.
And that's the whiskey wager.
Cheers to the Lions. Let's buy some kneecaps.
No. Yeah, I just think Detroit's defense is too suspect. I think Minnesota's defense is more, road tested and worthy. Detroit, though, man,
they're scrappy, man, and their defense has been getting better. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is a number one wide receiver.
Yeah, if he had a real quarterback, imagine what he could do.
I don't know, man. Jared Goff's not a superstar by any means, but he's getting the job done against bad teams. Really.
He is, and Jamal Williams continues a streak of having more touchdowns than the Broncos.
Holy cow, man! I mean, it's
14.
Like, if we're inside the 5, give him the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
I wish the
Swift
Chiefs would pick him up, man. I seriously
Swift who? All right, so we got the whiskey wager. I got Minnesota. You got Detroit. What's the line on that one?
2.5 for Detroit.
2.5. All right.
I mean, so the Vikings could.
They're
cover.
basically kind of calling that almost either way, which is pretty wild.
Well, it's pretty nuts that they're favoring Detroit when the Vikings. Oh, I've got to say this too. This is nuts. The Vikings right now, their total season point differential is plus 10 points. That's the lowest by a 10-3 team in NFL history.
That's crazy.
So that's one reason why Vegas is kind of favoring Detroit in this. They know that they're not that good of a 10-3 team.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they're definitely out of all the teams that are up there in the rankings, they're the most suspect for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Jacksonville at Tennessee. I've got Jacksonville in this one.
Do you? Well, I guess we could have made this one a whiskey wager as well, but well,
I think Detroit and Minnesota is a better one.
No, I agree. That's pretty fun.
I just think with Tennessee firing their GM,
that's really suspect, isn't it?
It seems like things aren't going that well.
You know, I heard it on PTI today that it's got to make a lot of sense that it comes after A.J. Brown just lit them up. They're like, hey, you release this guy.
Yeah, you let him go.
You let him go.
Look what he's doing.
Look what he did.
Look what he did.
What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
We're going to fire you.
Clearly, he fucked up on that.
I saw a picture of the guy. He
looked like a goober.
Like a total douche, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there might have been more to that than we realized.
So, you've got Tennessee in this one. I've got Jacksonville. What's the spread on that one?
Tennessee's favored by 3.5.
That's what I've got
I just don't see Jacksonville. They can't win away, it seems like.
I just feel like their offense is clicking better than Tennessee. But again, it's one of those games where if Henry goes off, then the Jacksonville has no chance if you're keeping the ball out of their hands. So
yeah, true.
Next game, probably don't need to spend a lot of time on this one. It's Philadelphia at the Giants.
Yeah, so Philly's favored by 7. It's in New York, so Philly knows that Dallas is just clipping at their heels, and so I feel like they are going to be balling out. Like the past few weeks, they've been blowing teams out. Some of those dimes that he's been throwing to A.J. Brown, like I was watching that game on Red Zone last week, and he threw one to A.J. Brown that just was.
He didn't have to move.
I mean,
like
the
in a dead run
was less than a foot away from A.J. Brown, and he put it right there. I mean, I text you. I texted you after Sunday. I said, I think Jalen Hurts has moved in front of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, there's still people that would disagree. I just feel like that guy's got it all, man. The thing is his longevity, but he's got it all right now.
Yeah, I mean the supporting cast is definitely there for Philly, but you look at the passes and what he's doing for that team. And I saw a video today where when he talks to the team after the game and before the game, that team is locked in. They respect him.
Yeah, there was something that happened. Oh man. I don't remember when it was. It might have been the beginning of this year. It might have been the end of last year where he like brought the team together, and I was like, dude, this guy's like a rookie.
Yeah.
Basically. And he's got this team by the balls, and they're just like locked in on him. It's just like, dude, whoa.
Well, it's like what we've talked about before. When he takes off instead of sliding and he pushes over guys, like 3 guys, and keeps moving the pile. You know the other teams.
Your linemen are like, this guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And I gotta say, Jason Kelsey's like my new fucking hero.
Yeah, that guy's rad. We posted a cool little picture of him coming into the game.
That was hilarious, man.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name from 50 First Dates, but Sean Astin.
Astin. Yeah.
That's his name. But man, that is hilarious. Jason Kelsey. I wasn't gonna bring it up on the Rec Center later because it's kind of too popular, but people need to listen to the New Heights.
I still haven't listened to it.
I think you would laugh, man. I mean,
I probably would. It's just one of those things where I don't like Travis, so I don't want to listen
Travis
to Jason.
Kelce, dude.
Because he just seems like Jason seems like a guy I'd want to fucking hang out with. Travis seems like that douchebag dude who's like too cool for school, who kind of talks to you, but like is even just kind of like, fuck this guy.
You're being judgmental. That is.
I have every right to be.
No, you're being a hater, man. You're being a hater.
I just said his brother's cooler than he is. It's not a Kelce hater.
Yeah, but you're still dissing Travis. Travis is fucking cool.
Nah.
Oh my god, hater. Oh my god, let's move
All
on.
right, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, dude. I'm picking Pittsburgh.
I am too. I am.
And I'll tell you
dude,
why.
Pittsburgh's been moving.
Even with Lamar, they didn't look good against the Broncos.
Yeah.
I thought the Broncos might have won. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say they're gonna win any game, but they looked like they had a chance to win that game when Lamar was in, and they looked like they had a chance when Huntley was in. But I think Huntley a full game. I just think Pittsburgh has got everybody there, and that's what they're trying to do with Pickett and Pickens and Najee. That fucking stiff arm by Najee last week. Oh my god!
I tried to find a clip for it so that we could post it.
I did post it.
No, I know, but did you? I wanted to find a clip of the commentator because he said, and he had the great line that was like, "That man has children."
Oh damn! Another children one.
I know it. I was
we
like,
could have misspelled it and got a bunch of views again.
It said
that man has
like,
children. No,
But-
yeah, he bounced him like a fucking basketball though. That's what I put on the
man.
post. It's just like boom, and he comes up off the ground like shit. So I mean, Najee's playing all right. He's not like, I don't think he's a top 3 running back by any means, but he's up there in the top 10 for sure.
He's a playmaker for sure. But I've got picked because of Pickett. I wasn't gonna say that, but it just kind of flowed.
Pickett.
Pickett and Pickens. So I've got him picked because that team I feel like is rallying behind Tomlin. They don't want to be the first losing team.
No.
In
Yeah.
Tomlin's history, and I feel like if they continue on the path they
Well,
are,
they got Watt back, and anything's possible with that guy
Yeah.
rushing the quarterback. So
I mean, there's a real good chance that they can still finish 8-8-1, or
they just barely not lose, have a losing season.
did they have a tie earlier this year? I think that was last year. No, but I think no,
they didn't.
Yeah, but I still think that there's a chance that they could finish with with a winning record.
Yeah, definitely. It's possible, and I hope it happens for their sake. I like Mike Tomlin.
I do.
I think he's a hell of a coach.
Always respected the hell out of him. Let's move on to Tampa Bay and San Francisco. Pretty good game here, except for Purdy is starting, but
I'm still picking San Fran. Oh, you skipped one.
Who?
You skipped your pick of Denver over Kansas City.
Oh, let's see. On my ESPN thing, the way I
it flips
because that's my favorite team. It always puts them up first, so I don't know in the order that it goes in.
They're right here. So Chad picks Denver to win. I've got Kansas City. They're
Don't be
favored
putting words
at
in my
8.5, but I don't think that's real.
Don't you be putting
What is the
words
game
in my
favored
mouth.
at right now?
9. It's
That's not
favored at
right.
9. I am picking KC, no doubt. And you
Well,
are too.
I mean, this is probably going to be Kansas City's lowest scoring game in the last 5 years just because of this Denver defense.
You got to admit that
They're
was
probably
when-
only going to score 17, but it's okay because Denver's probably only going to score 10.
Let me
So-
inform the listeners that when we watch this game, Chris is the most obnoxious that by any time that I ever know him. He will go on and 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 try to annoy the hell out of me.
Well, yeah, because you're winning all the time. That's the
Exactly.
only thing I fucking have is
can't
to
help it.
just make you miserable the
I
whole
can't
game
help it that
and talk shit.
my team is winning. That's just the way it is. Man.
It's
You gotta
okay.
accept it.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Well, hey, wait.
There'll be plenty of people doing the chop at the
While
game.
we're
so
on this
we'll be able
game, I gotta do something real quick because we are. Yeah, I feel like we take some inspiration from Two Bears One Game, obviously. Since
Yeah.
you're starting to drink from
I'm
Bert.
starting to drink tequila now.
And so let's take a page out of their book and,
Chad's he's leaning back.
and take this
Oh, dude, what?
for Christmas. I'm giving
It's
you
early.
a fucking surprise right now.
I don't like what it is. What is it?
Check it out.
What is this?
With the game coming up on Sunday, and we will be there. Merrill told me the size, so maybe it'll fit.
Oh, dude, you've done stuff behind my back.
I did. I'm a
How do you
fucking
open it?
sneaky
Is
little
this
bastard.
Mitchell and Ness?
It is a Brandon McManus jersey.
No, it's
No,
not.
I'm lying.
Oh, that's why you asked me.
Dude, yeah, I thought you would know.
Oh, dude, that's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, it's an official jersey, too.
Wait,
It's
I
not
gotta
even
hold
one
this
of the Chinese rip-off
Can you
ones.
see this? Oh, yeah, that's Atwater right there.
All right, well, let it go down in record. This video and podcast will be deleted because I don't want any record of me doing anything nice and giving a Broncos jersey to anybody.
That's fucking rad.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Well, I figured we'd do it closer to Christmas, but I guess the game is coming up.
That's
so
why
this is relevant.
Yeah, I was gonna do it closer to Christmas, but the game coming up, and I had to do this, man, because I've said it before on the podcast. Chris does pretty much
all white, dude.
you know, a large majority of the work for the podcast with the editing and video, whatever it might be. So
I'm out of frame.
Yep, all I do is host. So, you know, it's the least I can do.
Well, and the nice thing too is that you got me a jersey that nothing can go wrong with. Much like I got you the Cream Hunt jersey and everything went terrible for you.
He kind of kicked a bitch, so that didn't really work
Yeah.
out.
Well, dude, that's fucking awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers to you, man.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Well, I still put voodoo on the jersey so that they'll still lose.
We don't need voodoo in Denver, man.
Yeah. Well, that is one that I wasn't mad about because Steve Atwater, when I was
hoping it was a Hitler cup, though. I'm not gonna lie.
that would have been hilarious. This is a little teacup that Hitler got.
Guess what I got you?
It's a paintbrush that he made.
Hitler
all of
undies. Well, thanks, man. Fuck, I wasn't expecting that.
I know.
Got me all
to
Twitter-pated.
Yep, I tried to surprise.
Well, unfortunately, after getting a cool Broncos jersey, I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs to win this game.
Well, you know, that's the logical decision to do.
But my luck, though, this would be the one game where the Broncos pull it off and win 9-6. You know?
Well,
it's got to happen one time.
I would be so fucking
One of these
pissed,
one-score games, they have to win.
Well, Mahomes better not get hurt. And, you know, I have one thing I do
No, it
have
doesn't even
written down.
matter. I thought the one time his knee fell off that we were going to win, and you guys still won.
Still fucking Chad Henne came through and, you know, stepped up.
Chad Henne.
Yeah, anytime you got a quarterback named Chad, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, you're all right.
Well, seriously, though, I do have written down that if Murray can average 5 yards per carry because our defense has been looking so sick, you guys, I think,
I don't think he can. That's the problem. We're on our third string starting running back.
I mean, Murray's starting for you guys.
Yeah, I know,
right?
but he's averaging like 3.2
Yeah,
yards a
but
carry.
that's what I'm saying, man. It's like if our defense has been playing like
It's not going to
has,
happen. It's going to be a blowout, and it is what it is. But at least we're going to have fun doing the podcast from the parking lot.
Yeah, damn
Parking
right
lot
we are.
pod.
Hell yeah, live.
Next game, Tampa at San Fran. Shit, I got San Fran this one. I think they're going to beat Purdy
too, and I think
they're going to beat him with Purdy. I'm sorry.
I wrote down because this is the saving grace for San Fran is the fact that it's in San Francisco. If this was in Tampa, it'd be a way different story. We saw that.
I still think
last
San
night.
Fran might win, but it would be closer.
Yeah, it's just that defense. And here's the thing is, like, you know, New Orleans brought a little bit of pressure last night with Cam Jordan, but Cam Jordan's pretty fucking old, man. He's played in the league over 10 years.
Yeah, and look what they did to Brady that whole time. So imagine Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa, the league-leading sack leader, and then you got those other guys. That D-line is scary. I think they're going to be getting after Tom Brady like crazy. I think the defense will win the game.
More than likely, it's not going to be Purdy, although I still think...
Hey, wait, hold on. You mean it's not going to be Purdy?
Purdy.
That was smooth.
It's not going to be Purdy, but they're going to win for sure. Yeah, I just think with McCaffrey, just all the weapons they have, Debo, and then what's that other kid they've got now, that wide receiver who's like, Ayuk, Jennings.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings. That dude's been there like third down machine.
Yeah.
And he'll just, anything.
Dude, and we didn't
throw him
even
the
mention
ball.
George Kittle. I made such a fuck up last week in our league where I just seriously thought, I was like, well, I'm out of this season. I forgot that your nephew's, for some reason, bringing in 8 teams into the playoffs.
It's okay. That's what we do in my other league, too. It's nice, but it also sucks when an 8 seed beats you at number one. The one time I won that league, that's how I won.
That's why I'm not mad about it, because I'm in the bottom tier of that league, so I can still make it.
In.
But that's why I was like, okay, I'm not really going to worry about my lineup, and I started Dawson Knox over George Kittle.
But, dude, he hasn't done shit all year,
Kittle
though.
only got 4 points, man. It's like he's not putting up numbers.
Yeah.
But they still have that weapon, too. Like, they have so many weapons.
Yeah, it's just a matter of who's going to beat you. As long as you can give him the ball, it's playmakers. So it's, Debo Samuel's running wide receiver screens, end rounds, anything. It doesn't matter. You get these guys the ball in a handoff, and they're going to, turn it into something productive.
Very true.
I got San Fran. You've got San Fran,
San
or no?
Fran's favored by 3.5. I would take Tampa Bay in the under in this. I think it'll still be a close game.
You're just taking Tampa to cover.
I'm just taking Tampa
Bay.
Yeah, to
Tampa
cover.
Brady.
But I am taking San Fran to win. Let's move on to a game that we can kind of breeze over. It's the Panthers at Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 3.5. And I think depending on the running back situation, I think Seahawks might be a little handicapped in this game. But I think the Panthers are on their path to. I don't know with NFC South teams, man. That is the biggest.
Both South divisions, AFC and NFC, are just and again the AFC is doing better this year, but I mean they're always suspect.
Yeah, I just cannot believe. That's why I wanted the Saints to win so bad last night, to just really mix up,
just to shake everything.
Yeah.
up. Well, imagine what that would have done. Yeah, just for like Tampa and Atlanta and all them, they're like right there.
Everybody would have
been
been insane. I mean, it would have been fascinating, but it's just whatever. And it could still be that way because Tampa's still got to play. I think the Bengals and San Fran. So
yeah. Well, you mean San Fran again? They got to play them twice?
No, I mean they're playing San Fran this week, and then
I
think they play
okay.
the Bengals later this year.
I was gonna say, that sucks to play them twice in like 5 weeks.
That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got San Fran as well. I'm sorry.
Seahawks.
We started talking about San Fran. Yeah, Seahawks. I've got the Seahawks.
Okay. But the next game of the week is the Sunday night game, which they flexed. And it's pretty much the only game of the week. I would say, man, I went back and forth on this game. I don't really know. But because the Chargers just lost to the Raiders, I'm going to take Miami. I hate to say it.
I'm taking Miami too, actually. I don't believe in this LA Chargers team.
No.
With Keenan Allen just coming back last week, I don't know about Mike Williams. They say he's questionable. He may or may not be back. Who knows? That guy's been hurt all year, but like 3 games.
Yep.
Austin Eckler is doing all he can, but it's still just not enough.
I mean, dude, he's only getting 30 or 40 yards rushing a game. I mean, he's still getting lots of receptions, but you look at the yards per attempt that Herbert's throwing, I mean, it's like 4.
Yeah. They're all checkdowns.
That's all. But, I mean, Los Angeles' run D is so bad that I feel like Mike McDaniels is going to scheme up a lot of Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert in this game.
Yeah, probably. And I think it's going to work. I just don't see the Chargers being able to overcome all of Miami's weapons, especially with Tyreek like last week going off for like 146 yards. Dude's just, I think him and Justin Jefferson were pretty close, but I think with that game, he pulled well ahead of Justin Jefferson for the lead of most yards by a wide receiver.
Yeah, he is up by pretty much 102 yards.
Yeah, they were neck and neck last week.
Has 1379, and then Jefferson has 1200.
He's going to hit 2,000 yards.
I don't know. I bet it'll end up about 1,800 or so. Those last few games, those guys slow down, especially when it gets to colder weather.
Yeah, that's true. It is going to get colder.
But, yeah, it's still a career year for him, but they'll still lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Probably. Next game, New England at Arizona. I've got Arizona in this one, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
The New England offense has issues.
Tell me why. I feel like I got these headphones on. I'm just going to start singing.
Yeah, I just think you saw there's cracks happening over there in New England, and Matt Patricia does not know how to run an offense. I don't actually know who's calling the offense, but it's supposedly Matt Patricia, and you've got what's his name, Mac Jones, just yelling on the sideline. What the fuck are we doing? We can't run the fucking ball. We need to throw it.
Yeah, I loved seeing that.
That was paraphrased. That's definitely not what he said. But
yeah, I mean, he's right though. I mean, it's a shit.
It's like, we can't run the fucking ball. What are we doing?
I mean, every analyst has talked about it. How New England doesn't have an identity. You know, it's like for part of the game they'll try to be a power running team. Part of the game they'll try to throw it deep. Part of the game they'll try to throw to tight ends. They can't figure out an identity, and it's just not working for them. But I feel like this is going to be a D-Hop game. I don't know how often you've noticed this, but in primetime games, dude, Newt shows up.
He usually does.
Yeah, and I could see him getting 150 plus in this game.
That'd be nice for them, but it's just a matter of what Kyler Murray's going to do. And that's the big X factor for them. I do think he's going to have a decent game this week. It's just, I mean, it could really go either way with that guy.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. But, man, I really hope next year. This is different, kind of a side topic from the game. But I really think the NFL schedule makers said, all right, fuck you, ESPN. You know, you took Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. We're going to give you the worst games of the year. I mean, dude, there's been like.
Well, look at Thursday Night Football, though.
Yeah, I know. And they have fucked over Al Michaels. There's been a few. Let's just say there's maybe 3 or 4 good Thursday night games, but there has only been 1 or 2 Monday night good games.
Yeah, most of them. It's weird. It's like flip-flopped. It used to be Thursday. Like, you don't need to watch Thursday
Monday
Night Football
night
any
used to
fucking week.
be the showcase.
It's the Jags versus the Falcons and shit like that.
I mean, and then we got the Colts. The Colts are in prime time like the next 3 weeks. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like the Broncos.
Yeah.
We got a prime time taken away from us, dude. Now we miss out on Sunday Night Football, which we talked about last week was better for us doing this. But
yeah, it works out.
Thank you, Broncos, for making our lives easier. But at the same time, fuck you, Broncos. You're dicks.
I might have to call Verizon and figure out what I can do about making a hotspot so we can get Red Zone on my laptop while we're there.
Oh, I've got hotspot on my phone, so we'll be good there. That's going to be the only thing. And we might be able to grab it from the stadium. It's a little far, but they did just update like all of the Wi-Fi transmitters in the stadium. So we might be able to grab it. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So you didn't say, do you got New England or Arizona?
Oh, I got Arizona too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so that's it for the Week 14 picks against the spread, which brings us into something we haven't done in a little bit, the Rec Center.
Let's head down to the Rec Center. What
Let's
do you
do
got
it.
for me,
Let's
man?
play some pickup basketball at the Rec Center. I got Preacher on Hulu, which is a TV show based off of a graphic novel called Preacher. It's a really cool show. It follows the graphic novel pretty closely, but the show itself, super entertaining, super kind of graphic and gory, and I thought it was a great show. I never watched the graphic novel beforehand, but when I was managing Mantra Tattoo, one of the tattoo artists who I'm still really good friends with, Timothy Kidd, put me onto this.
Shout out Timothy.
Timothy Kidd. He put me onto this and was like, "Oh, you got to read the graphic novels." I was like, "I'm not going to read the graphic novels." He's like, "Well, you need to at least watch the show." I was like, I'll check it out." I never did for like 2 years, and I finally did, and I watched it all. There's like 4 or 5 seasons of it. Super entertaining. Definitely check it out. It's on Hulu, so you can stream it if you've got Hulu. Chad, what do you got?
Well, I thought I saw that pop up there, and it's kind of up my alley. Isn't it a little sci-fi or something?
Kind
like
of
that?
sci-fi, like basically this dude's like a preacher, and he gets the voice of a fallen angel that like anybody will listen to him. Like this angel comes down from heaven and basically not, I guess possesses him would be a good way to put it. But he can say something and anybody will do it.
Oh,
and
wow.
he could be kill yourself, and someone will just shoot themselves in the head.
Whoa, that's dark.
Yeah, crazy shit like that. And in the graphic novel, it's way crazier than the show. Insane stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, so I want to read the graphic novels. That'll be probably my next venture, but definitely check out the show.
All right, I'm down. I'll check that out.
What do you got going on over there?
I'm trying to put the Nuggets game on, and then I'll put the laptop.
Oh shit, I forgot Nuggets were playing. We're tied 8-8.
We're on TNT tonight.
Oh dang, TNT.
We got primetime television. National
We got Chuck.
televised. We got a big game against the Mavs too. The Nuggets got to pull this out because we've been in a slump.
They haven't been doing good, man. It's been a bummer.
Well, at least we get home field advantage tonight. My recommendation is the horror movie Smile.
Oh, I've been checking that out. I really like the artwork for it.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I was like, that's a cool looking. I like the logo and the face in it.
Yeah, so we didn't see it when it was in theaters, so I'm a few months late, but it's
Theaters.
now
what
on-
is that?
Yeah, I go to the theaters, okay, for Marvel movies, all right? Yeah, it is on Paramount Plus right now. So if you have Paramount Plus, it's free to stream. But
Well, not free, but yeah, you can stream it.
Yeah, you can stream it, basically. Dude, I felt like my 5th grade self when I watched Blair Witch Project win this. I looked over at Hannah at one point and I was like, I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait for this to be over. I was so freaked out, man. I swear.
That's crazy.
I haven't watched a horror
I haven't had
movie.
a reaction like that since probably the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, and actually the new Blair Witch Project that came out 3 years ago
Wasn't
pretty
too
decent.
bad.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty decent. But anyway, this movie, it's such a good concept because of the smile. I mean,
I still have no idea what the premise is.
and I'm not going to give anything away. I will admit that the ending was kind of a letdown, but I will still say that it's worth watching. It's still really creepy, and as you know, Hannah and I watch a lot of horror movies, and I would say out of 10 horror movies that we watch, maybe 2 or 3 are ones that I really appreciate. Like that's
they'll always get you with like some jumpy shit, oh fuck. But like there's hasn't been a movie that I've watched in a long time where after I watched it I was like, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
Aside from like the Serbian film.
Don't talk about that. Okay. We're going to move
That's
on.
my rec center, the Serbian film. Go check it out, people.
We're going to edit that out. That is fucked up. He is a twisted individual. Anyway, it was just so fucked up the way like people smile and the whole premise of it. So, yeah, just check it out. It's on Paramount Plus.
I'm going to have to check it out now because now I want to know what you mean by the way people smile.
Yeah, it's just it's a good premise for it because I was freaked out. Like I'm just fucking huddled in my blanket. Like, God damn it! I look like a fucking 12-year-old girl just trying to get through this movie.
I just remember the craziest thing about the Blair Witch Project. Like I think everybody went and saw it in theaters for the most part because that was like how things happened back then. But I remember leaving and like literally not knowing whether or not it was real.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody.
I was like, did I just watch people die? Like I don't know if I watched people die or not.
Dude, that's like Paranormal Activity. Everybody thought that shit was real.
Yeah, I know, but like back then, like there was no social media,
Yeah.
so everybody was like, did they fucking die? And everybody's like, I don't know. I think those people are dead. I don't know. They might be dead.
Go find them in the forest.
I'm gonna go. I got a search party. We're gonna go get them.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
But yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna have to check it out now because I do like a good scary movie, and it's hard to find one that's worth shit anymore.
It really is, and that's what I never would really recommend him because there's so many bad ones, and I still appreciate it because I just love horror. But this is one that, like, I would say 85% of the movie I really enjoyed.
That's cool, man. I'm gonna have to definitely check it out. So those are our 2 rec center recommendations. Playing some pickup basketball, you know how we do down at the rec center.
Yeah,
Getting in some weight room. Doing the damn thing. We're going to move on to the DDOE, and right now you are going to hear the excellence of John Daly, and then we will be right back.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it.
You just heard the musical stylings of the one and only John motherfucking Daly.
the legend himself.
Hit it hard, man. And with that, Chad, we cheers to the end of episode 14.
Cheers to you, buddy.
Great job, man. And to you guys out there, we can do this now. Cheers to you.
Cheers. Hope you do shots with us. I will gotta admit, I don't want to digress too much, but my mom.
You thought they'd get easier.
I started to just try to talk while I was
Yeah.
swallowing that, but my mom can attest to this because there's a hilarious video of me probably 4 years ago taking a tequila shot and then yakking right afterwards. I'm still not good with tequila, but I used to be horrible with shots. You remember this of days of benders?
Yeah,
The old punch cards. God, that was dangerous days. But I've gotten a lot better, and I will say this podcast has gotten me a lot more practice at taking shots.
Yeah.
And if that isn't like progress and trying to better your life,
I mean, I don't care how
know
good
what is.
you are at taking shots. There's always a time a shot can sneak up on you.
Oh yeah.
One time, somebody bought me a vodka shot. We were out at a club downtown. I never go to clubs. If you know me, you know you will not see me at a club ever, like a dance club. And someone bought me a vodka shot, and I took it and immediately puked into my mouth and into a girl's purse that was standing right next to me. I didn't say anything.
Oh my god,
And
that's
I feel
awesome,
sorry
man.
if you're that girl and you're watching this, which I know you are. I'm sorry for puking in your purse like 8 or 9 years ago. That was my bad.
Hey, it's better than the dance floor. So
I'm sure some got on the dance floor, but who knows? All right, this week's DDOE, there really isn't. There is a video we'll probably post. It is a little bit. A lot of people are. I guess they were debating it on CNN today. As like,
are
know,
you serious?
Yeah,
They
it
were
was on
debating
CNN.
it on CNN?
Yeah, as to whether or not it was too harsh.
Holy shit.
So if you haven't seen it, Deion Sanders did just become the new head coach of the CU Buffaloes, my new college team. I didn't have one before. I told you guys after last weekend's crazy college games I was going to get involved. I'm involved. Coach Prime Time is here in Boulder, Colorado. It's the second coming in terms of college sports in Colorado. This is one of the biggest signings in Colorado sports history in some people's eyes. Yeah.
It's made national news.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy who, before he even signed, had college kids decommitting from huge schools. I think the wide receiver from Ohio State, one of their number one wide receivers, just decommitted and is now joining the CU.
That's
There's been
huge.
Transfer portal opened up yesterday, and there is basically every member of the CU team is transferring out except for one or two guys. And the reason is that after his press conference, Coach Prime addressed the team, and there wasn't that many guys, as a lot of guys had already transferred out because of Carl Durrell and how bad things went last year. So there's only about 40 guys in the room. But Prime walks in, and I hate to say it, man, he dropped his nuts on the table on these college football players.
That's a good way of putting it.
Walked in and just basically said, like, hey, I'm here. We're coming. And I brought my own luggage, and it's Louis. And basically telling those guys, like, I'm bringing my own guys in, and it's 5-star, and that ain't you. So if that ain't you, then you need to get out of here and go find your own, get into the transfer portal and go do something else that's more beneficial for you. Because if the way things have been in this, facility aren't the way they need to be, and they're changing. And I thought a lot of people, like we said, they're debating it on CNN as to whether or not it was too harsh what he said to these kids. These are grown men, basically. I mean, you're 18, you're considered an adult.
Well,
So,
at this point, too, you can make money in college football.
Yeah, it's
so
totally different.
It's semi-pro. It's
Yeah.
not, oh, this is a school. Everybody needs to play. They need to get a participation trophy. Like, no, there ain't none of that. They're out to try to get a national championship or be in contention for a good bowl game.
Exactly, and I think anything short of that next year, especially a bowl game, I know national championships, obviously, that'd be a huge, oh, God damn it.
I have to shut this fucking computer down, man. God, the Nuggets piss me off.
Dallas is rolling on them right now. Was it 24-17?
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, we will post the video because
I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it, just see what you guys think, because I didn't think it was that bad.
no, and that's just it. Is at first
It's reality.
I mean, I don't know. I was kind of taken aback by it, but then thinking about it a little more, this guy really went out on a limb. Colorado was 1-11 last year. It's not even like he went to Auburn, who that would have been a huge job for him being in the SEC.
I heard they didn't want him.
No,
but
they didn't want him. But even the year before, when he took the Jackson State job, Florida State didn't want him. And you look at where they're at now, it's just there's so many opportunities that he could have taken, and he took on literally, I mean, dude, it's like the Mighty Ducks situation or something where he's taking the bottom of the bottom and trying to rise them up and coming in and saying, listen, you guys aren't good enough. There's thankfully, because of the transfer portal, there's other players out there that are good enough, and they'll come here. And the transfer portal is something we could debate till the end of time, but I'm for it because it creates a lot more parity in college football. I'm tired of seeing Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State.
I mean, you see guys like Spencer Rattler leaving and going, and
South Carolina put up 63 on Tennessee. But I would be remiss if I didn't say I know somebody in my life that's been a Colorado Buffs fan for 25 plus years. My boss, David Timmons.
Shout out David Timmons.
Is a diehard Buffs fan. I mean, even more so than NFL. And he was even mentioning today.
It's always weird to me when people are like, I love college football that much. I'm just like, that's crazy.
Well, it's just cool because
but good for you.
He went through so many years of turmoil, and he knows the good years too. Like back in the 90s and stuff. Cordell Stewart, Eric Bieniemy, our offensive coordinator.
Rashawn Salam.
Exactly. There's been a lot of prosperity in the Buffs years, and so Dion's trying to rise him up to that. So I mentioned my boss David because he talked about how there's going to be a lot of fans that are jumping on the bandwagon now. And, I'm always a KU football fan, but, it's just I'm a local here, and I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
And he comes from an HBCU, so I think it'd be great where if he brings some of those other kids that has an opportunity.
Yeah,
to,
I think they already said like 6 or 7 of those kids are probably coming from Jackson State.
That's fantastic because they have an opportunity to maybe make it to the NFL and maybe make a lot of money to help their families out. But I find it fascinating for someone like my boss that has been a diehard fan of theirs for a long time and could possibly see them rise to a level of dominating the Pac-12 when USC is probably going to be leaving, Oregon might be leaving.
Yeah,
who knows what's going to be happening?
Kind of stuck behind because of what's happened and where
Yeah.
they're at. So he might be able to, parlay them into getting into whatever big conference the SEC finally makes when they finally say, fuck the NCAA and make their own whatever it's going to be.
Oh, exactly. But let's go ahead and hand out the award for Daily Dose of Excellence for somebody that doesn't care. And, we should mention, too, that he said that in team meetings, there's not going to be any phones. There's not going to be any sagging of the pants.
No hats.
No hats.
Did you see that? They're making a big deal out about it right now. When he said that, there was an offensive lineman that was like,
Are you serious? I didn't see that.
he was the only one, and everybody's like, why are you guys giving him shit? Like, there's like, it's like both extreme opposites. Like, people are like, can't believe you took your hat off. Like, what the fuck? Like, you can't, like, you don't have any moral values. Like, to, like, that's what you want to do. You're not. And then other people are like, well, he listened to what his coach said.
Yeah.
He's trying to fucking stick around.
Right. For listeners of the show, what Chris motioned is that what Dion said is you can't have a hat. And there was a student that took off his hat. And right when he said that, and that's just it, is like guys that are going to listen and do what they're told, those are the guys that might stick around. And
yeah,
he's kind of notioning towards this mentality that we're not going to accept a lackluster philosophy here. And that's what's been accepted, here at CU for a while now. And then, like you
it's
said,
been
their
shitty.
facilities, dude, I saw the
top 5.
I saw the Grateful Dead there at Folsom Field. That is a badass stadium.
The stadium's rad, and just their like indoor facilities. They have a full it's top of the line shit, and they just have a bottom 5. They have a top 5 facility with a bottom 5 team
and a bottom 5 recruiting.
Nobody wants to
program.
come here.
They don't even put
Nobody
money in
state comes to see you.
Right.
Nobody. So yeah, this is gonna change everything. If you get a chance, go watch his press conference. I mean, you hear the guy talk like, I want to run through a wall for the guy, and I don't even play for him. So it's like I'm getting goosebumps. Like, damn, let's go hit somebody. I don't even know what we're doing anymore. So yeah, I just think that the Daily Dose of Excellence goes to Primetime, which we already all know that he's excellent, but let's give him a little bit more excellence to go with that.
He just led Jackson State to an undefeated season last year.
Got a bowl game now.
Yep. So
and he's going to go coach that, which is super commendable. He's not giving up. He's saying I'm finishing out and then getting shit going with CU. So
it's fantastic. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for our first video episode. Hopefully you guys see this on YouTube and you enjoy our handsome faces and Chris scratching his nipple over there.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get a little nipple scratch.
Yeah.
It's been great. This has been cool. I'm excited to see how this video stuff goes. I'm interested to see how post goes with me having to, edit all this. But I think it's going to be good. If you guys have made it to the end of the show, please like, share, subscribe, and follow. And now watch us wherever you can because we're going to be on YouTube. So
hey,
we'll
and tune in Sunday. We'll be at the game. Hopefully we'll have an episode for you guys while we're at the parking lot.
We have no idea how that's going to go. It could be a longer episode. It could be a shorter episode. It might only be a video episode. We'll see how it goes. We're going to play it by ear, but something's happening on Sunday. So tune in. It could be live on Facebook. You might be able to watch while we're there. So tune in. Check us out. We love and thank you guys. Chad, I love you, buddy. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Cheers to another episode of Fringe Fanatics. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Appreciate y'all.
See ya.